This morning, Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price back from the White House. Will the president's infrastructure plan become reality? There is one element she really wants to see happen. Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson changed her mind about retirement, now running for re-election and facing two Democrats calling for new leadership. They'll debate in studio. An activist and an attorney want to change the way we elect statewide judges. Arguing in court the current system leaves out Latino influence. And the Tarrant County judge upsetting some state senators, blaming fellow Republicans for your rising property taxes.
From WFAA TV, this is Inside Texas Politics with Jason Whiteley.
Good morning, I'm Jason Whiteley. Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson has talked about retirement before, but she has also changed her mind before. Johnson's running for a 14th term next month. She represents District 30. This is downtown Dallas. It's Duncanville, DeSoto, Lancaster, Oak Cliff, most of the southern portion of Dallas County. 2 weeks ago, we reached out to the Congresswoman's office and to her campaign, inviting her to appear this morning. A few days ago, her chief of staff told us she could not do it this week, so we asked the Congresswoman's office to give us a date that works best for her own schedule. We exchanged 7 emails over the last few days, but Congresswoman Johnson's team never would tell us when she could appear with us. So in studio are her two Democratic challengers, former state rep and Dallas City Councilwoman Barbara Mallory Caraway, plus Eric Williams, a filmmaker and former journalist who is now an educational consultant. And joining the questioning, as always, is Bud Kennedy of the Star-Telegram. Big table here. Thanks for coming in, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Let's start with the basic question. The Congresswoman has had overwhelming victories in the past. What makes you think it will be any different next month? Barbara, we'll start with you.
Well, it is a different season. And I think that what the constituents and the voters have begun to see is that nothing has changed. Washington is out of control. Donald Trump is out of control. No one in our district is speaking out against Donald Trump and the inequalities that are persistent in our district. And so I believe that it's incumbent for me to go to Washington and to be not only the voice, but the vote for the people. We need an advocate in Washington.
Eric, she's had crushing victories in the past.
Yes.
Why won't it be any different this time?
Well, I think we need liberation from the problems that currently exist. We got a lot of corrupt politicians in Dallas, Eddie Bernice Johnson being one of them, I believe. I mean, we got $500,000 of campaign finance money missing from 2014. I mean, we got poverty running wild in the southern sector of Dallas. I mean, she has not been visible. I mean, she's a ghost today. I mean, she's been dictating to this district for 46 years. I think that's way too long for anyone to be in power. We have a Mugabe in Dallas, and we need to get rid of the Mugabe.
Let's talk about some of the realities in District 30. Many neighborhoods remain blighted, many that we discussed there in that map we showed you. Other parts of Dallas have grown. Parts of District 30 really have not. They need significant work and investment. If elected, what can you do, though, Barbara, to turn things around?
The first thing I will do is to get together with all of the other elected officials to pool the resources that are available to invest in the district. We have an African-American commissioner, African-American city council members, several of them. We have our district that extends all the way out to Cedar Hill, Duncanville, and DeSoto. So the first thing that I think that we need to do is to look to see the basic issues that are affecting our districts: poverty, high unemployment, lower economic and social deliberation in our district. So that is the first thing that I will do, is to pool the resources together to make a difference in those blighted areas. As you mentioned, I'm a former city council member. I'm a former state representative. And what I did during those tenures is, particularly on the city council, it is my work and the reason that we have the University of North Texas. It is my work as transportation, chair of transportation, the reason we had the discussion to begin to build the Calatrava bridges. It is my work that we began to redevelop and to restructure West Dallas. It is my work that we have a lot of the infrastructure, whether it was terms of recreation centers and other infrastructure issues that we are now enjoying.
Now, for both of you, Eddie Bernice has all this power over science and space, transportation, water resources. She's considered to be a very powerful senior member in Washington, ranking member on committees. Right. You know, how would you get something done for Dallas coming in as a backbench freshman? Eric?
Well, I think that working together across party lines is key. I mean, we have to have partnerships. I mean, with Congresswoman Johnson, she wants to build a park 238,000 miles away from Dallas on the moon. We have people in Sand Branch that's been without water for 30 years, and she sat on the Water and Resource Committee. That's just not acceptable. We need true liberation from the colonialist past that's been protecting us in this district. And Eddie Bernice Johnson has been right there working with those individuals to keep the oppression that we have in our community. And that just cannot continue to exist.
Barbara, what committees would you like to serve on if you're elected? What are the main areas you'd like to focus on?
Well, I certainly love to sit on housing to make sure that we have affordable housing, because those are some issues that we need to address. I certainly would love to sit on public safety because of all these guns and the inability for our current Congresswoman to even speak out about the tragedies we're having. And in addition to that, education. So those are the issues that I would like to address. Those are the issues that I'm passionate about.
Eric, you have committees you like?
Yes, I would love to sit on the Space and Science Committee, simply because of the fact that we have students here in the district that needs to be aware that drone education is a big industry. I mean, they can get in that industry at 16 years old now, paying $100,000 out of the gate. I want to make the South the Silicon Valley of the South in District 30. I want to bring resources to this area through a resource revolution.
We saw another mass shooting in Florida a few days ago, too. If elected, what, if anything, could Congress do, should Congress do?
Well, I think we need to change the gun legislation laws.
What would you do?
I firmly believe we need to ban assault rifles. We need to ban bump stocks. I mean, people want to talk about the Second Amendment and the militias, but that was 242 years ago. I mean, we're living in a new time. We need new laws, and really, I think the Constitution needs to be updated.
Well, in addition to that, the truth of the matter is that you can initiate background checks, and we must take on the NRA. The NRA has literally bought and put so much money into these races until people seem to be afraid of them. They control Congress. Even on the Republican side, in light of the shooting in Florida, they do not want to speak out and say that we need to make some changes to make sure that people, not everyone, is capable of owning a gun. So we have to look at that.
I want to ask you about the Me Too movement as well. Do you think Senator Al Franken should have been pressured to resign, Barbara?
Well, he made that decision, and I think that
he faced pressure from inside the party as well.
He did, and he did what he thought was the best. But you also have Ms. Johnson, who said that the sexual assault is the responsibility of the way the women dress. It's because of that. So whereas he faced some backlash, where is the responsibility of women, particularly Congresswoman Johnson, who said that women should look, it's the way that have some responsibility. So I don't think that that's right either.
She said that was something for her generation, something that the way older people talk, and then she apologized for it. Eric, how did you feel?
She's out of touch. She's old school, just like she said. I think that no woman should be sexually assaulted in any shape, form, or fashion. And I think for her to sit up and say what she said just lets us know she's out of touch, and we need new leadership in District 30. I mean, I'll say it again, 46 years is too long, and we need new leadership. We need liberation in District 30.
And the unfortunate thing about it is that we keep referring to Ms. Johnson, but she hasn't shown up at this forum of this debate or anywhere. So I think that I will not continue to address her issues when she is not present to even talk about her own.
Our invitation does stand to the Congresswoman if she does want to appear, so that remains on the table too. Barbara Mallory Caraway and Eric Williams, candidates for Congressional District 30, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
The Texas prison system faces new questions now about its execution drugs. Specifically, have those drugs expired? Is their shelf life over? The Texas Tribune filed an open records request hoping to find out, but says the Texas Department of Criminal Justice was not immediately forthcoming with that information. Ross Ramsey's co-founder and executive editor of the Trib, one of our media partners in Austin for us. Good morning to you, Ross.
Good morning, Jason.
If those drugs are expired or relabeled with new expiration dates, how might that affect any upcoming executions?
Well, the lawyers that are challenging the Texas Department of Criminal Justice on this say that expired drugs lead to botched executions, and they're challenging executions. Now, to be fair, they challenge executions all the time, so the state's been slow to recognize that. But we asked for the records to see what they've done with these drugs. They used to be forthcoming with these. Now they're extending the deadlines as long as they can and trying not to let the information loose.
There's another interesting trial is unfolding about how we elect judges to the Texas Supreme Court and Court of Criminal Appeals. An activist and an attorney argued that those candidates never campaigned in South Texas, down in the Rio Grande Valley, or out in El Paso, and that therefore limits Latino influence, is their argument. What do they want the court to do, though?
They're telling the courts that they would like single-member districts. They say that if you're running statewide elections for those two courts, that most of the election takes place in the triangle, from Dallas-Fort Worth down to Austin, San Antonio, over to Houston and back up north again. And it doesn't take place in South Texas, El Paso, places like that. If you had single-member districts all over the state, people all over the state would be represented on those courts. And the trial is still continuing? The trial is just ending, and we should have a decision any time, I guess. Gotcha. Ross, back to you in just a moment. Thank you. Early voting starts on Tuesday, and no matter how you identify politically, you know that elections have consequences. Here's Ed Gray from the Commission Radio Show with My Voice, My Opinion.
As we know, elections do have consequences. Recently, the Dallas Examiner, an African-American newspaper, sponsored a forum called Monday Night Politics. This forum is to educate voters. Some politicians have viewed African-American voters as uninformed. Wrong. One judge shamefully outed a domestic abuse survivor. This story went nationwide as the Washington Post reported it. The following week, another judge referred to the audience as "you people." Again, this is 2018, not 1968. And politicians, no matter how long they've served or how distinguished their public record, cannot take any voting block for granted. Politicians can get careless. When that happens, they only increase the awareness. Sleeping voters can be awakened. Stay woke and vote. I'm Ed Gray, and this is My Voice, My Opinion.
When we come back, Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price. We'll talk to her about her trip to the White House last week and the one part of the president's infrastructure plan she really hopes happens. And the question this nation must ask itself again: what should we do after 17 people were killed at a Florida high school last Wednesday? That's the focus of Flashpoint when Inside Texas Politics returns in 3 minutes.
How did you sleep last night? If you had a restless night, it's probably time for a new mattress. Let our trained sleep consultants help you find the perfect mattress solution. Shop Grapevine, Allen, or Plano today, and you'll sleep better with Stacy's Sleep Solutions. Remember, if you're shopping at Stacy's, you're shopping with family.
It all starts with a tree. Every element is done with purpose. Every detail crafted with care. This is custom made for you. A place to call home. A community that stitches together the most fun, the best food, a love of fitness, and above all, friends. Perfectly placed on the banks of the hill country. Kissing Tree is here. Pull on your boots and visit us in San Marcos. Schedule your tour at kissingtree.com.
Behind every performance are hours of rehearsal, especially in medicine. It's why at Methodist Health System, we're always refining, innovating care, determined to improve and save lives so that our performance and yours are worthy of innovation. Trust Methodist.
Sorry, I can't make it. It's just my eczema again, but it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
You okay?
Eczema, it's fine.
Hey.
Hi.
Aren't you hot? Eczema again?
It's fine.
I saw something the other day. Eczema exposed. Your eczema could be something called atopic dermatitis, which can be caused by inflammation under your skin. Maybe you should ask your doctor.
Go to eczemaexposed.com to learn more. Why is Philip Huffines running a negative campaign? To hide his liberal donations. Huffines gave thousands of dollars to bankroll liberal Democrats who backed Obama and support sanctuary cities and abortion. Philip Huffines, liberal donations, negative campaign. The conservative choice? Angela Paxton, a pro-life conservative. She'll fight for secure borders and oppose sanctuary cities. For Texas Senate, constitutional conservative Angela Paxton.
Welcome to the auto show. What's your first impression here?
Well, this is nice.
You want to go drive a new Chevy? Let's step outside.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's very comfortable.
And what if I told you that you can get auto show cash right now?
That would be nice.
I think it's time to trade in.
Use Auto Show bonus cash to get $22.50 total cash allowance on this 2018 Equinox. Plus, get an additional $750 down payment assistance when you finance with GM Financial. Chevy drives Texas. Find new roads.
For a few days only, you can save big on furniture for your home during Stacy's President's Day sale. Store-wide savings start today and end at 7 p.m. Monday. Hurry in for the best selection, and remember, if you're shopping at Stacy's, you're shopping with family.
President Trump campaigned on it, rebuilding roads, bridges, and airports, among other things. Last week, he hosted a roundtable at the White House to unveil his infrastructure plan. And Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price, you just saw there, she got an invite. She's in studio to talk about the likelihood of the president's plan becoming reality. Mayor, good to see you.
It's good to see you, Jason. It's always good to be here.
Absolutely. We appreciate you coming in. Tell us how you got an invitation to the White House.
You know, we've been working closely with the White House staff. Fort Worth is one of the largest, one of only 2 or 3 in the top 20 that's conservatively led, and the largest city in the nation, led by a woman currently. That gives us a little bit of their ear to talk with them up there.
We'll talk about the money in a moment, but the president promised something else that caught your attention that you liked, cutting regulations.
Absolutely.
How might that help any projects in Fort Worth?
Well, you know, for one thing, when you get into these projects like our I-35 project that was started originally, the dialogue's been going on since 07, 08 and seriously started in 09, and it's taken now to begin to get that done. When you've got an 8 to 10 year window to clear projects, to get them all done, to get the permitting done, the environmental clearance, you're running the cost of that project up considerably. We're trying in Fort Worth to be much more flexible and much quicker about what we do to get our departments, instead of operating in silos, on a horizontal plane where they're all talking. That's a big piece of this project that'll really help cities and states.
The president essentially says if states and cities pay for 80% of it, the feds will kick in the remaining 20%. Where does the money for that 80% come from?
Well, all the projects are not necessarily 80-20. Some of them will be merit-based on your application. Some of them will be more than that and less. Currently, cities already fund 76% of the infrastructure in this nation. Whether it's and water projects, it's more than that. It's probably 85 or 90 for water projects. We'll just have to we already take money out of our ongoing budget and bond elections. And we have state highway dollars we work with.
Do you expect more money to come from bonds? Do you expect any taxes being raised, tolls being charged? What do you think?
We're not going to raise taxes. Tolls, we have no new toll projects. As you know, the state has virtually outlawed those. But we will begin to leverage these against other things. And the quicker you can deliver a project, the more, as you get growth, the more money you're going to have anyway.
One thing that struck me, the president's plan reportedly allows states to add or increase tolls on interstate highways and to charge fees to use highway rest areas. Do you support? Now, I know what the state decided as far as tolls go, but do you support any of that?
Well, I don't know about the rest areas. That seems a bit extreme to me. You know, you need a rest break, you need a rest break. But the toll piece, we've been very successful in this region, in the Fort Worth, Dallas region, particularly on the western side in the Fort Worth region, doing managed lanes. We could not have 35 as close to done as we have now had we not had that private partnership. I think that'll be the beauty of this project, is being able to work with our partners in Austin to figure out how do we go forward. And TxDOT already has some money from Prop 1 and Prop 7 that we can use to leverage these federal dollars against. It's one of the only states that's already got a pool of money from oil and gas severance taxes.
Yeah, some money is being set aside. The president did say he would pay for the federal money by cutting the budget elsewhere. Did he suggest where that might be in the meeting?
He really didn't. He really didn't get into the full details. He just said we're going to look for the low-hanging fruit and we're going to look for the efficiencies. It's much like you and I have to do on our home budgets, the same thing we've had to do at the city. There's always some room, and there's always some discretionary money there that you say, maybe we don't do this time because we desperately need those roads. If we can relieve congestion, better water projects, repair our bridges, think the quality of life for our citizens is better.
No question, Fort Worth and Tarrant County are growing at an explosive rate. What are some of the top 5 projects you'd like to see potentially addressed with this money?
Obviously, we want to finish I-35, the LBJ interchange here, 360 in Arlington that they're working on, the expansion there. There's so many of them. And then you get into water projects. What do we need in the way of water projects? We've got several major bridges in Fort Worth, and I know Dallas does too, that need major repairs. Broadband, the expansion of broadband. The other piece of this is money also can be used for workforce development. On the Pell Grants can now be used to do 2-year certifications at your community college, to fund apprenticeships. That's a really big deal to put some of this money, because your workforce is absolutely part of your infrastructure.
And a lot of potential opportunities there. Mayor Price, good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Thank you, Jason.
The nation has asked itself the same question far too many times. What should we do after another mass shooting? 17 people killed in a Florida high school. That question also sparked this next conversation. From the right, Mark Davis of 660 AM The Answer, and from the left, Rich Hancock of virtualnewscenter.com.
Thanks, Jason, and good morning, everyone. Well, 17 children are dead in another mass shooting in a high school in Florida. And I want to ask my friend Mark Davis, whose opinions and beliefs I respect, what should we do about this massacre?
The first thing I want to do is thank you for immediately hitting me for wanting to do nothing, because that's what my week has been like. The conservatives who do not instantly go to gun control, we are pilloried, including pilloried for our thoughts and prayers. We always love that, as if that does nothing. Well, I think what we're interested in is the heavier lifting. With the acknowledgement, as I see it, that no new magical law will do anything. We want to address our fallen world, our dysfunctional society, maybe some parenting issues, maybe some mental health issues, maybe some school security issues. That's a short answer. Any problem with any of that?
Well, I mean, in addition to what you've just said, I would say one should consider perhaps stricter gun control laws. Yes, that's right. Absolutely right. We should not be giving mentally ill people access to guns. We should not be giving kids in homes who are disgruntled with their school access to the guns in their homes. The simple reality is that we could have more security without taking away anyone's guns. I'm a liberal. I'm a Democrat. I don't want your guns. I want you to be safe about your guns. That's simple, isn't it?
It is simple, and I wish that were represented by some of the folks who are going to be talking about this in Congress and in social media, because I think they absolutely want to make it harder for law-abiding people to own guns. Because you throw out a language like assault weapon, a largely meaningless term, and I don't think you'll find even much argument even from NRA people who say we want to keep people who shouldn't own guns from owning guns.
Well, assault weapon isn't a meaningless term, because the simple reality is that the AR-15 was the M16 assault military rifle. That's what it was before they changed the name to the AR-15.
Well, it also is semi-automatic. It's also one shot. It's not a full auto.
So is the M16. From the left, I'm Rich Hancock, virtualnewscenter.com.
From the right, Mark Davis, 660 AM, The Answer.
The Honda President's Day sales event is here, and we're celebrating all across America with brilliant deals on some of our most popular vehicles. Explore our great nation with the 2017 KBB.com Best Value brand during the Honda President's Day sales event. Visit your Honda dealer today.
Celebrate the President's Holiday the Nebraska Furniture Mart way with incredible deals on an incredible selection of famous name mattresses. Right now, shop mattresses with 75-month holiday financing, no down payment required. And get a free box spring with a qualifying Heirloom, Serta, Beauty Rest, or Sealy mattress. Plus, get free delivery. The brands you trust are all here. Shop more than 75 mattresses on display. 75-month mattress financing and a holiday box spring bonus. Celebrate the President's Holiday Sale at Nebraska Furniture Mart.
Ready or not, here we fun. It's a whole new year of thrills at SeaWorld and Aquatica San Antonio. There's more to soak and more to soar, and all new experiences in store. It's the most exciting year ever. Don't wait, come celebrate. Get 2 parks for 1 great price with a 2-park flex ticket.
Sophia. Have a good day.
Sophia, that smells great.
At Reliant, we believe everyone's going somewhere. So go on. Chase your dream. We'll be there to power you all along the way. That's life. Switched on. Reliant.
Foundation damage is a complex problem that can affect the very health of your home. Don't risk future damage. Choose the professionals. Choose Ramjack. At Ramjack, all repairs are professionally evaluated and installed by trained technicians. Our patented steel piles rifle deep into the earth to reach load-bearing strata. Inferior pilings and improper depth often result in bending, buckling, and additional damage. If you suspect foundation failure, choose the professionals. Choose Ramjack.
There's a whole secret society out there that craves life beyond the civilized world. If you know what we're talking about, you're in. Equipped with Toyota Safety Sense Standard, the virtually indestructible new 2018 Tundra and Tacoma.
Right now, qualified buyers can get 0% APR on a Toyota Tundra or Toyota Tacoma. Hurry in today. Toyota, let's go places.
Time now for Reporters Roundtable to put the headlines in perspective. Bernadine Steptoe is off this week, but Bud and Ross are both still with us. And Bud, let's start with you this week. Tarrant County Judge Glenn Whitley upset some state senators. He said that local officials shouldn't be blamed for property taxes. This is all on state legislators. Connie Burton didn't take too well to that. Kelly Hancock didn't either.
You know what was amazing? This was a mild-mannered county judge, an accountant by trade. He's been a commissioner and county judge for 22 years, who suddenly came out and said, you know, all this is awful. It's coming out of Austin. They're blaming local officials for higher property taxes. When they wrote into the budget, they figured in a 14% school property tax hike in order to balance their budget. They figured that in the Senate into the budget year. School taxes would go up 14%, or they couldn't balance it. But you know, the other thing that was interesting, he also mentioned, he talked about the Empower Texans and Tim Dunn. I said Tim Dunn's spending millions and millions trying to buy the legislature. So he actually came out naming names about Tim Dunn and Empower Texans.
Well, you know, when it comes down to the property tax blame, Ross, who really is to blame? I mean, is there enough to go around?
There's plenty to go around. The school districts and the counties and the cities do set their own tax rates. The state's right when they say, or state officials are right when they say they don't have anything to do with that. Exactly, but they indirectly control this. When the state decides what the school finance formulas are going to look like, for example, it depends on those local property taxes, and to say that they're not complicit in that is just wrong.
You know, Ross, there's another story this week, too. Ken Paxton, Attorney General, doubling down on his effort to stop schools from what he calls unlawful election engineering. Political campaigning is kind of what he's suggesting. He even threatened Louisville ISD, one of three, with legal action if they didn't take down a tweet. Is this law or is this politics?
Well, it's a little bit of both. It's mostly politics. What he's saying is if a superintendent or a school district takes a position on an issue and then encourages people to vote, that they're basically encouraging them to vote in a particular way. And he's saying you can't use state funds or school district funds to do that. That's the law part. But there's also a political thing here. These officials, as Glenn Whitley has pointed out, are battling over education money, and it figures into the elections.
But we have less than 60 seconds here left. Let me ask you about this other issue here too. A Plano City Council member in hot water over a Facebook post wanting the feds to ban Islam.
Yeah, Tom Harrison posted on Facebook. It was a repost of something saying, "Tell President Trump to ban Islam in school." Of course, Plano was upset. There are 30,000 Muslims living in Plano. This was an incredible thing for a city councilman to say.
Very surprising indeed. Gentlemen, thank you guys very much. We appreciate it, and thank you for watching as well. Don't forget, early voting begins on Tuesday for the March 6th primary. We'll see you again next Sunday. Hope you have a good week.